Hi, hello.
Okay, I could not wait a moment longer to talk to you because as we speak, literally a couple minutes ago, former Trump Organization CFO Alan Weisselberg has pled guilty in a tax fraud scheme after reaching a deal with the Manhattan DA. So yesterday, I admit to being, a little bitch, a little Verka salty bitch, because on the surface it was like he was going to get 5 months and no cooperation, right? So what has happened here, Allison Gill? Explain what you think is going on.
I don't know, but I'm still Veruca Salt about it. I hate this deal. Why did they need to give him 100 days in jail in order to get this? If so he's flipping after they had already indicted the Trump Organization. It's like, why you had a slam dunk cases on both of these, Trump Org and Weisselberg. Why do you have to give him just 5 months to get his testimony? In the Trump Org case. I don't like it.
Yeah, I don't. That's what I mean. But it still means that he can't take the fifth now, right? He has to testify in. What is the difference? Do you understand that? And he's not cooperating against Trump personally, but he's cooperating against the Trump Organization, and he can't take the fifth, right?
Well, he's not supposed to be able to take the fifth, but that doesn't mean he just won't be full of I don't recalls and and the prosecution might not even use him as a witness. I mean, he's a criminal. He's a career criminal. Right. A lot of cooperating witnesses are, and that shouldn't, stop the Department of Justice or the Manhattan DA in this case from using that testimony against another entity or against in another case. But do you remember the whole Manafort Rick Gates thing and how the jury convicted him without Rick Gates's testimony? It was just based on the documentary evidence. And these were both slam dunk cases, and I feel like it's probably got a lot to do with when Dunn and Pomerantz resigned in protest back in January. I don't like what this office is doing. I think they're taking a very light-handed approach to this, and I mean 100 days for 15 tax crime felonies. What?
So speaking of which, I couldn't wait to talk to you about. I know you've been defended Garland, and you also tweeted breaking more stuff Garland did months ago that you didn't know about because there are no leaks from this DOJ. I assume the Garland haters will still be mad. I mean, the only thing I wonder about, AG, and since you were in government and you know a lot about this stuff, the article about how much deference and how long he took to deliberate this and to do this, are you not concerned, since it involves apparently America's nuclear secrets and other top secret classified stuff? What do you make of that? The whole how long he deliberated and the subpoena, and I mean, it just feels like there would be a lot of urgency around this, no?
Well, Empty Wheel put out a great, and she's been writing about this, for months and months and months.
Yeah.
And what it appears like Department of Justice was doing was trying to get their hands on all of the documentary evidence without having to directly go to court to get it, because that would mean that the White House and the Department of Justice would have to communicate.
Yeah.
And they don't want that. They have that firewall, that back to the norms that we were angry about when Bill Barr was in office. So they let the committee run out this whole scenario about getting all of the documents from the National Archives in like 5 or 6 different tranches, approved all the way up to the Supreme Court, except for Ginny Thomas's husband, but got everybody to sign off on it. And then once that was done, Wyndham comes in from Maryland, who was in charge of the suits and not the boots, as our friend Glenn Kirschner, our mutual boyfriend, says. Says, all right, give us everything you got, committee, now that you've gone through the whole rigmarole of the privilege question, so we don't have to communicate with the White House about this, and we don't have to do a 3-year Mazars type investigation into it. And so as soon as he could, he got them. And then when they realized that there was a bunch of stuff missing, they went down and got it out of Mar-a-Lago themselves. Yeah.
So well,
that's where we are.
This is the Empty Wheel just was talking about DOJ obtained Trump's privilege waive documents in May, and you just said brilliant. DOJ got the Donald Nara records exactly after the courts decided the privilege question with the committee, so they didn't have to run through it again, and it prevented the White House from having to communicate with DOJ, allowing that apolitical firewall to remain intact. So that's obviously a big deal. We are, what is this? 10 o'clock our time, Pacific, right? Federal Magistrate Judge Bruce Reinhart sets that as a hearing over whether to unseal Trump's Mar-a-Lago search warrant affidavit. What are your... First of all, this never happens. This shouldn't happen. They're trying to find out who the witnesses are and what's going on so that they can F this investigation, right? I mean, what do you think is going to happen?
Absolutely, 100%. Otherwise, Donald wouldn't be calling for his own civil rights to be violated, by releasing this affidavit. We usually do that after we charge somebody because constitutionally, everyone has a right to defend themselves against their accuser, and if they're not charged, then that right has been taken away. So that's why Mueller didn't call obstruction of justice, because he couldn't indict the former president and didn't want to run afoul of the Constitution and the accused's rights, which are very important. But I think that the coolest thing about this is that they're not going to unseal this affidavit. But and Christina Bobb had both receipts of the things she was calling to have released.
Yeah,
she signed them herself, and so now they're going to be like, no, you can't. I think the judge is going to say, no, you can't have this affidavit. And the most interesting thing in the DOJ filing against releasing this affidavit is they said not only will this wreck this investigation and violate Donald's criminal rights, but it could chill some of our high-profile witnesses against testifying in other high-profile cases.
Of course.
And I think they're talking about Philbin, Cipollone, testifying in the January 6th case, so in one filing, in one fell swoop, the DOJ confirmed they're doing an ongoing criminal investigation into the missing documents and an ongoing criminal investigation into Donald Trump for the January 6th stuff.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk Secret Service. You retweeted Benny Thompson and Carolyn Maloney threatened to subpoena DHS Inspector General Joseph Kafari over these missing Secret Service texts. You said he should be in jail, but I like a subpoena. That's what I was saying. I mean, obviously this latest news that they knew of the threat to Pelosi and Pence's life, it didn't tell anyone, tells me they were part of the coup. They were waiting to see if it would succeed before they waited 5 hours to say anything. And I guess my question is, are these texts gone? Are they ever going to find these and get to the bottom of this whole thing?
What I'm hoping is that a lot of these text message communications between top Secret Service agents and Pentagon staff, it will be on their private phones, which we can get. And we can get it without even asking them for it. We can get it with what's called a 2703 order from the Department of Justice.
Yeah.
Where they just go right backdoor to Verizon or whatever and say, give it. And they give it, and they don't have to tell the target. But yeah, this is clearly, I mean, Kufari's been helping cover up the coup for a long time now. Remember, he quashed the investigation into the rubber bullets and tear gas attacks on peaceful Black Lives Matter protesters when Donald did the photo op over at St. John's Episcopal. He quashed the COVID investigation into the fact that Donald was putting all of his Secret Service reps at risk for COVID when he's making them take them on his little hospital SUV tour. And so it's just, this guy's been janky from the beginning. You remember, I mean, he fired like 5 inspectors general and replaced them with allies, and this guy's one of them.
Yeah. Well, you asked an interesting question on Twitter. You said, was there anyone in the media that knew Kafari was quashing the Secret Service text message investigation on purpose? Was there anyone? I mean, it feels like there's more shoes to drop here, doesn't there?
Yeah, and the answer to that question was yes, it was me. I thought that was happening. And I hope that Maloney, Carolyn Maloney and Benny Thompson get to the bottom of it, because it's, and I hope that when, I think it was Senator Dick Durbin who called for the Pentagon Inspector General, a guy named Sean O'Donnell, who was another Trump burrowed installed employee, and asked him to investigate why text messages were missing from top officials at the Pentagon at 1-6. And I'm like, no, probably don't ask that guy. Maybe just get some new inspectors general.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's talk Rudy, who testified yesterday. You tweeted, interesting, Andy McCabe says you usually inform a person they're a target ahead of their grand jury testimony so they have that info going in. So I guess he was able to, did he take a bus ticket? How did he get there? Anyway,
he flew. He definitely flew. That's why he won't answer that question.
Right.
Yeah, but I think he and Lindsey Graham are going to be going through some things, don't you think?
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, Rudy got a target letter, and it seems like from one of Donald's tweets last night that he might have gotten one too in Georgia. He, well, not tweet, a truth, excuse me.
Tronsensual. Yes.
because he's like, oh, so I guess in Georgia, you go to jail for this, but not this. And I'm like, who sounds like somebody's going to jail in Georgia? But yeah, Rudy, he probably pled the fifth the whole time. And that's what McCabe was saying to me. Like, you definitely want someone to know they're a target before they go into the grand jury, so that they can use their Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination, which any of us would, were we, cooing.
So you're saying before the devil went down to Georgia, that he was looking to make a deal.
Exactly.
Isn't that?
Really?
He was in a bind. He was way behind, I'm going to guess. Legally, right?
What was that?
He was in a bind because he was way behind, legally.
Yes.
All right, I'll stop now. I'll stop. Go ahead, AG.
Not everybody appreciates the Charlie Daniels Band.
Well, I do. That particular song, I do. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I think he pled the fifth the whole way, and that's because he knew he's a target, and that's his right to do that. So that's probably what happened for 6 hours, just question after question, pleading the fifth.